Hello, Scorpio. I'm Jenny Fitterer, and welcome to your December Tarotscope. I have a single card for you for the month of December. The first 2/3 of December is Sagittarius season, and then we will have the the solstice, and after solstice we will be in Capricorn season. So I have a single card for you, and the card that we have for you is the Four of Coins reversed. So this is the way that it looks the right way up. We have these three figures kind of in a row. One of them is kind of kneeling, almost in prayer. And there's this sort of Buddha-esque statue over top, some flowers, this kind of big, kind of almost hairy outline. And then we have the coins up and down below. And it came out upside down like that. Okay, so we're just going to see what the Four of Coins has for us. Okay, Scorpio, Four of Coins. Personal values. Each person creates his or her own world. On the one hand, this card tells you to beware of fact-bound superstition, of putting your faith in hard data and material things only. In a more positive sense, it is a card of completeness. You restructure and discard all that is no longer appropriate for you, creating new forms and new habits. You complete the framework in which you choose to live your life, an environment in which your talents, your personal strengths and weaknesses will all find their proper place. The statue of Buddha represents the values and customs that you hold dear. They are the glue that holds the different aspects of your actions together. The black outlines, together with the black areas around the figures and the rose and lotus flowers, coalesce to form a lion's or a bear's head. Our personal objectives and our own God can sometimes turn out to be a dangerous animal. Even our most exalted values will have to be put to the test. Do not play the hero or the loser. Do not waste your time with show-offs or yes-men. Every human being possesses something unique that is his and his alone. Neither good nor bad behavior will help you to succeed. You will advance only by developing your greatest talents. Practical advice. Your most precious talents are those that are the most useful. They will benefit you most by helping you to fulfill your desires and let go of your fears. Sometimes it is better to clearly draw the line and to emphasize your uniqueness. But sometimes it is better to improve your communicative abilities and to include as many people as possible in your endeavors. Okay, Scorpio. So we did just come out of Scorpio season. We're in Sagittarius season right now. So y'all just had your birthdays, and we've kind of had this. We also had a couple eclipses in Scorpio season. So there was kind of a lot going on last month. But now we've kind of come to the other side of that. So what you may have found is that you've kind of had a fresher taste of some things that this card's already talking about, which is your desires and your fears. Those are two very kind of scorpionic kind of tendencies, but they also kind of make up what is often the boundaries of how we make our choices. We're kind of skidding between moving towards our desires and running away from our fears. This is often kind of the playing point of our motivation. These are the things that motivate us, either towards our desires, sometimes even running away from our desires because we're afraid of that for different reasons, and trying to get away from our fears, but also sometimes chasing after our fears for whatever challenge that is. They're very magnetic, either repulsive or kind of pulling towards. So we may have had this kind of more fresh awareness of our desires and fears that's kind of come up from the unconscious into the conscious realm. And now what do we want to do with it now that we can see them more? Is we want to understand them. We want to put them in context. So Sagittarius season, first 2/3 of the month, is where we've got a lot more light, and it's a fire sign. So suddenly we have a lot more light and attention we can put on these things that have come up, these fears and desires. And Sagittarius is very curious about understanding. It's trying to see the bigger picture. It's trying to understand the truth of things and put it in the framework of the whole complete picture. So we really have this chance to be like, okay, we've survived what came up. We experienced a lot of emotions. And now let's really get curious about them. Let's understand them. Let's learn about them. Let's kind of see how it fits in the whole picture, and just get to know them a lot more. So this can feel like a very empowering thing. And knowing, in this case, especially for Sagittarius, it's a fire sign, not an air sign. So it's not just about knowing cognitively of like, yes, I see this and this means this, therefore I this, very like logical. It's experiential. Sagittarius really likes to experience things. So the fact that we just had kind of maybe emotional experiences of Scorpio season Sagittarius is really going to be like, okay, now that I've experienced this, I understand it a lot better. And now it's going to be part of my wisdom. It's not just things that I know or things that I've heard from other people. It's my experience. It's my story. And that's going to help expand my understanding of how to work with it. And then we have this other part of the card, which is talking about talents. So this is the Four of Coins. So that's an earth sign. Coins is very much about practical things, tangible things, manifestation, work, wealth. So it's very, and talents and our skill sets. So what we're kind of looking at with this card is really trying to connect our desires and our fears to our talents, to our skill sets. Instead of just bouncing between what can feel like these emotional states, it's how can we now also harness the skills and the talents that you have in order to move towards your desires, in order to manifest things that'll keep you and protect you from your fears, in order to build the lifestyle that you are looking for, or build and create wealth for the community and the people around you, so that more people can have their talents and their skill sets acknowledged and utilized in a good way. And what is a good way to organize and utilize our talents? Well, that's going to be kind of dictated and navigating through how we deal with our desires and fears. So they're very tied together. And so this is really, this card is sort of, sorry, not this card, in this season, in this month, that's going to really fit well with once we hit solstice and we move into Capricorn season, because Capricorn is all about hard work, goal setting, manifestation, and using. A healthy Capricorn is a Capricorn who can utilize their talents and their skills in service to the goal. So you can have this really big drive to get the work done. But what we're going to need is a few things in order to really roll into Capricorn season in a healthy way. You need to have an understanding of your talents and your goals, so that you know the how of what you're going to do. You need to kind of understand your fears and desires, because that's going to give you a lot of the why, of the motivation of either the moving away from things you're fearing and the moving towards things you desire. That's kind of the push and the impetus. And then we also need to have the goal, like the vision. So the vision is going to be tied to the why, but that's also tied to the talent. So and all of those things have to be together. You can have lots of skills and no goal, no vision, no idea what you want to do with it. You can have these passions of fear and desire and really feel quite impotent about what to do about it because you haven't really connected to your skill set. And you can just kind of like have your visions, have your fears, kind of like, have your skill set and these fears that you're aware of, but just kind of be like circling with them because you don't have a goal of where you're going to go. So we really want all of these things to come together, and then we can really utilize this time and energy in a really positive way. So kind of encouraging you to spend the first 2/3 of this month in that Sagittarius energy of trying to like really understand what's come up with you in kind of that turning of the wheel where you had your birthdays, whatever may have come up in Scorpio and eclipse season. Really just shine a big light on it of curiosity, and try to expand your understanding of it, and while thinking about how is this going to be useful? What have I learned about myself? And what do I know about my talents and my skill sets? And how is this all going to come together for what it is that I'm wanting to do next? And doing this, like your goals and your skill sets, the goals doesn't have to be like my 10-year plan for my work vision, or I'm going to redecorate my entire house. It doesn't have to always be these big outward expansive things. Sometimes it can be like, wow, I discovered this past season was really rough. Like, I've got some major health issues because I was just so struggling, like to keep my own even physical equilibrium. Maybe my goal is actually to like rest, or my goals are actually going to be looking at like really gentle care, or looking into some health practices, or trying to like gather in some support, see if there's other people with skills and talents that want to help me. Like there's lots of kind of inward things as well. Goals don't always have to be outward projected, like big energy expenditure. They can be inward. It can be nurturing, it can be community oriented, it can be restful. So all of those, both directions are possible, and both directions are really going to benefit from that Capricorn focus and discipline. to that Capricorn energy, then we're like, now we can get things done because we've done the work of experiencing what's come up for us. We're now able to understand it and place it in the context more. And then Capricorn's like, okay, let's get to it. We know what we're doing. We know how we're doing it, and we're just going to knuckle down and get there. So that's what I'm seeing for the kind of after solstice part of December. And that's what's coming up for you for this month, Scorpio. So yeah, again, a happy belated birthday to you. I hope that that you can really kind of connect everything that you've experienced in the last little while and be able to feel like you're having some forward motion with it, and it becomes a fuel for new things instead of just something that you're constantly having to experience and drown in. It doesn't really feel like you're going anywhere with it. So I really hope that this month you can take that and feel like you've got some forward motion with it. If you want any other assistance, specifically seeing what kind of planetary transits are going to be there supporting you throughout this month or influencing and having a big factor, there is my Sagittarius season Pay What You Can forecast. It is up on the YouTube channel already. So that has also has another additional tarot reading. So there's lots of good stuff in there. Super appreciate any donations that come my way from that. And best of luck, Scorpio. Have a lovely December.